Tonight, proposing pay raises at City Hall.
This is a full-time public service.
Redefining what it means to be a London councillor. Plus, a serious crash east of London. A motorcycle rider with life-threatening injuries. And summer camp concerns while measles spreads.
We're just putting all the systems in place so we can train our staff what to look for in terms of symptoms.
The warning for parents before sending kids to camp.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A motorcycle rider suffered life-threatening injuries crashing into a vehicle east of London this morning. Police say the motorcyclist slammed into the side of a Mercedes sedan around 10:30 a.m. It happened at Dundas and Shaw, which was closed for the police investigation. Police say their initial investigation indicates the person driving the sedan was turning left onto Dundas when the eastbound motorcyclist hit the driver's side door directly. However, they say they have not established which person had the right of way at this point.
As a result of the collision, the motorcycle rider was transported to hospital with life-threatening injuries. The driver of the passenger vehicle was not injured.
And one person was killed, another seriously injured in a crash north of Exeter this morning. Emergency crews were called to Highway 4 in Hurondale, reporting two heavily damaged vehicles, one of them upside down in a ditch. Police say an air ambulance was dispatched, taking the injured driver to hospital. A collision reconstruction team was on scene, investigating in the hours following the crash. Police also say a bystander tampered with the crash scene, interfering with their response.
Yeah, for sure. There was an individual that arrived shortly after the collision and started to move debris around on the roadway from the collision. And we want to make sure that people do not do that. Please leave the debris there. That's important information for us when we do rebuild the collision and try to figure out what happened.
The assault case against a high-ranking London police officer has been put on hold for the summer. Ottawa police have charged Inspector Ryan Scrivens with one count of assault related to an altercation they say took place Family Day weekend in Ottawa. He faces a separate assault charge for an alleged incident in Toronto. Scrivens' lawyer appeared over Zoom this morning requesting disclosure from the Crown. The 25-year police veteran is currently suspended with pay. The case was adjourned for 12 weeks with the next court date set for September 12th. Provincial police say they've arrested a suspect accused in a fatal hit and run in Hanover. According to police, Cody Bloom was arrested last night in Walkerton. Police say a 66-year-old woman was killed by a driver on June 11th, who later fled the scene. The car was eventually found abandoned and destroyed by fire. Police say Bloom remains in custody with a court appearance for next week. Middlesex London health officials say an extreme heat warning is coming next week. They say it will likely be in place Sunday through Wednesday. Humidex values are expected to reach the 40s. Prolonged exposure outside should be avoided, and hydration is strongly recommended.
Good evening. I'm meteorologist Gary Archibald for CTV News. It is hot, it is humid, and it's likely just going to get even more of the same over the next 3 to 5 days. We'll see temperatures several degrees above seasonal. 21 degrees feels closer to 28, 29. And a good westerly flow is going to keep us humid. And at the surface, well, it's been damp of late. We've seen some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the region. What we're seeing is a disorganized area of low pressure. There could still be some showers and thunderstorms through to midnight and into early Saturday morning. But Saturday afternoon into Sunday, Monday, it is going to be hot. Sauna-like. I'll talk about the heat and potential for heat warnings to be extended into next week. It's all coming up here on CTV News.
Thank you, Gary. A city-appointed task force says councillors should be paid like full-time public servants. Rita Ismail has more on the draft recommendations proposing significant pay hikes and redefining the very job description for a city councillor.
London's Council Resourcing Review Task Force says the job of city councillor has evolved and the expectations need to catch up.
We are going to recommend adding to the councillor role description is a section that clearly outlines that this is a full-time public service and that councillors are expected to make this their primary occupation while they're in council.
The task force also says the compensation rate should reflect the demands and complexity of the job. London's councillors earn 24 to 31% less than those in comparable Ontario cities like Hamilton and Windsor, with a base salary of roughly $65,000.
We are looking at the possibility of suggesting a significant increase in base income. We don't have a number yet. We've put it out to staff to look at some possibilities, but we still want to base that income, we want to base that compensation on incomes that Londoners make.
Deputy Mayor Sean Lewis says he's not surprised at the draft recommendations.
We look at all the factors. London's actually at the bottom of the barrel, and if we want a good, full-time, focused on the well-being of the city council, you know, at the end of the day, you get what you pay for, and you have to compensate adequately so people can do the job. 8 of the 14 councillors responded to a recent survey, reported working on average 52 hours per week. They all agreed the role should be full-time. We're still working through the 412-page planning committee agenda for Monday that I just got yesterday. The workload is just getting bigger and bigger. The task force is also recommending that councillors serve on 1 to 2 standing committees, 3 external boards. Committee chairs receive extra compensation, and to retain the additional 12.5% compensation for deputy mayor and budget chief. Makes a lot of sense. It balances out the fact that right now we have people serving on 7 and people serving on 1. And says, you know what, everybody's got to carry their fair share of the workload here. Currently, councillors set their own performance expectations with few rules regarding attendance, communication with constituents, and participation on external boards and commissions. The task force's recommendations must be sent to the Strategic Priorities and Policy Committee for council consideration no later than October. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
The second annual Tenant Support Fair was held today at City Hall. The fair was launched last year by Lifespin, an organization supporting low-income families. This year's event was fully sponsored by the City of London, inviting numerous agencies to take part. Renovictions were among the biggest concerns raised last year when landlords used renovations to force tenants out. Organizers say a new city bylaw is addressing those concerns, but there are still challenges with the system in finding suitable accommodations.
It's a very complex system, so if we can help people navigate it, that's our main objective today. So in one room, we have all the different agencies, so people can easily walk about. Today we've been able to say, oh, I know who could help you. Let me show you, let me introduce you to that right person. So it's really helped people instead of, oh, that person halfway across town, you should go chat with them. We're all in one space, one room, easy to navigate.
City officials are planning a series of community events in London's neighborhood parks. Construction is underway on several park improvement projects this summer. According to city staff, each of those improved parks will host one of these events featuring music, games, and activities. The first one will be next Wednesday at Murray Park.
This is really exciting because it's not something the City of London has done before, is invest in an infrastructure asset and then say, actually, we want everybody to come out and really enjoy it together, because that's really what this is about.
A lot of people like to spend time in their parks, and it's one of the things we hear about a lot as elected officials is please make these improvements, please, improve the public spaces we use, and this is an example of us listening and being able to do that.
The fund supports 23 park improvement projects, all of them expected to be complete by 2027. A warning from provincial health leaders as parents get ready to send their kids to summer camps. Measles cases are spreading at rates we haven't seen in decades, and they don't want those camps to turn into super spreaders. Allison Hurst reports.
As summer camps get ready to welcome kids, they're taking extra precautions amid surging measles cases across the province.
We're just putting all the systems in place so we can train our staff what to look for in terms of symptoms or anything that needs to go to the health center. We're encouraging parents to look for signs and symptoms.
Camp Robin Hood is part of the Ontario Camps Association, which held information sessions with public health in May.
We've gone through an extensive exercise of getting families and staff to submit their official provincial public health records.
Other camps across the province are doing the same thing, requesting vaccine records from all campers ahead of day one.
There's a lot of excitement. There's also, some uncertainty.
Health Canada's most recent report from June 16th shows the country has more than 3,100 probable and confirmed measles cases, a 27-year high. Ontario makes up more than 2,100 of those, an exponential increase since 2013. Nearly 90% of those are unimmunized.
We have heightened our protocols and our training around signs and symptoms of outbreaks.
In Waterloo Region, if a measles case is linked to a camp,
set up a clinic as soon as possible in order to, if any campers that needed it, if their parents consented, would be able to get that vaccine in a short period to allow the camp to continue.
York Region is urging parents to ensure their kids have had both doses of the vaccine before going to camp, saying it's free, safe, and effective. Alison Hurst, CTV News.
Canadian researchers are shedding light on air quality across the country, focusing on pollutants. As Sean Leathong reports, it's much more than just wildfire smoke causing concerns.
Whether it's the typical pollutants you may know about or the ones less common, a new study from Environment and Climate Change Canada is taking a detailed approach to learning what is in our air for two reasons.
One is to understand all of the pollutants that we're exposed to in cities, and the other is how that mixture varies from one location to another in the city.
Elizabeth Gallonneau is a research scientist and one of the study's authors. She says pollutants like exhaust from vehicles are present, but the study also found another type of pollution around roadways.
Microplastics near a highway site, near Highway 401, we were having very elevated levels of plastics there that we think are coming from tire wear.
So when the rubber meets the road, microplastics are released into the air, and the study finds that the quality of air really depends on where you are in the city.
Especially the sort of difference between being near a road and away from a road, not too far away, or the difference even between a park like High Park versus the green space at the University of Toronto Scarborough, where the levels were quite a bit lower.
While the typical smoggy days of summer may seem like a jumping off point, this study started by focusing on the Air Quality Health Index, or AQHI, in a 6-week period over the winter from January to March of this year.
There were days that had moderate and even high-risk AQHI values, and that's not as expected in the winter as it is in the summer.
And they're focusing on even the slightest pollutants in the hopes of understanding how they interact with the environment around them.
Like personal care products, the things we use in our shampoos, our soaps, or to clean our homes.
This is just the first bit of information as the study will continue. The potential is to help us understand our relationship to our environment and to plan in the future. Sean Leathong, CTV News.
Solidarity Day events were held on the Green in Wortley Village. Today's event included a sunrise ceremony followed by the grand entry. Organizers say it was about allowing First Nation communities and allies to celebrate together. There was traditional dance, food, and crafts ahead of Indigenous Peoples Day tomorrow.
Shows that we're all related. We're all together underneath the great tree of peace, and we're all here to be able to share again from each community and each nation. So that's where we're very blessed when we have Nunavut, Métis, First Nations of all across Canada be able to come here and be a part of this celebration.
When we come back, the Canadians trying to escape a war zone. No let-up in missile fire between Iran and Israel. Plus, the latest from a fatal rock slide in Alberta. Rescuers say they believe everyone has now been accounted for.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. The rush to escape conflict between Iran and Israel is growing more frantic. Canadian officials say they are providing guidance for citizens caught in the middle, but finding a safe path out is proving far from straightforward. Heather Wright reports.
Sirens sound over Jerusalem as Iran and Israel trade fresh attacks for the 8th consecutive day, as diplomatic efforts to contain the conflict took place in Geneva.
Mr. Minister, how are you, sir?
Iran's foreign minister met with top diplomats from Britain, France, and Germany today, a meeting that ended with no signs of a breakthrough. Asked about it, U.S. President Donald Trump said it will be the Americans, not the Europeans, that solve this conflict, though he seemed to reject Iran's demand for Israel to halt its airstrikes in order for talks to resume.
I think it's very hard to make that request right now. If somebody's winning, it's a little bit harder to do than if somebody's losing.
Trump says he will decide within the next 2 weeks whether the United States will join this conflict and provide Israel with the bunker-busting bomb it needs to hit Iran's nuclear site Fordo, which is buried deep in a mountain.
If they launch that bunker buster, now we got United States, in a war with Israel, fighting against a power that called Iran that wants to have a nuclear capability. It could then potentially draw in Russia. It could, raise the dander of China. So, this would change the political calculus tremendously, and I don't think anybody wants that to happen.
Global Affairs Canada says it's organizing flights in neighboring countries, urging Canadians in Israel and Iran to head to Jordan, Turkey, and Armenia. Hi, Hossein. Hossein Hodabash is among the many trying to leave Iran. He's not Canadian, but has lived in Toronto since 2019 and has a valid work permit. He was in Iran to visit his sick mum, but when he tried to leave, he discovered his temporary resident visa is expired, and he can't get back into Canada until a new one arrives.
When the war happened, it was just a nightmare. I don't know about the future. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Airspace above both Israel and Iran is closed, and while Canada has an embassy in Israel, it has had no diplomatic ties with Iran since 2012, further complicating efforts to get Canadians out of the country. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
A senior European official says the Security and Defence Pact Canada will sign in Brussels next week is more ambitious than most similar deals the EU has agreed to. The agreement includes crisis management, military mobility, maritime security, cyber threats, and defence industrial cooperation. The pact will allow Canada to join a European loan program for joint defence projects. And after that, the federal government can negotiate with member states about procurement opportunities. Prime Minister Carney is scheduled to sign the agreement during the Canada-European Union Summit. He will also attend a NATO leaders meeting Tuesday and Wednesday. A rock slide in Alberta has killed at least 2 people and injured 3 others. It happened near Bow Glacier Falls in Banff National Park, Alberta. The slide lasted for about a minute, coming down on an area popular for outdoor activities. Authorities say 3 people have been transported to hospital and they're in stable condition. They also say they don't believe anyone else is missing at this point. Data from Stats Canada suggests a tougher job market for young people, especially recent graduates. However, it also depends which sector you want to work in. Natalie Van Roy has more on the booming tourism industry.
Beaming and proud graduates from Algonquin College celebrated during spring convocation.
That sense of joy and satisfaction that they've completed their program, their faculty, their family, their friends are all here to support them in this amazing time.
Armed with diplomas and certificates, this group from the School of Business and Hospitality ready to tackle the job market.
It's great, especially for me. My master is from another country, so I took this course to upgrade my degree in Canada, and it feels great.
Tourism continues to boom in Canada. In 2023, the industry generated $124 billion in tourism revenue, up 18.5% from 2019.
Many of the students who go through our hospitality programs, specifically on the culinary baking side, already have jobs that they've been doing throughout their time with a part-time employment and are leaving and going into full-time.
I was lucky that I got a co-op in government and was in the PMO, and I did actually to use what I learned from school.
Past year, I apply and I get the job.
It's been a long journey. I came all the way from Kenya to Canada to study at Algonquin, and I was able to achieve this. So I hope it's going to open many doors for me.
But not every graduate is as lucky. There are challenges in the youth job market. The unemployment rate for people ages 15 to 24 growing to 14.2% in May.
Now we all are graduated, so the next main thing is to get a full-time job. I wish everyone to get a job and get a successful career as soon as possible. Yeah.
An internship in project procurement analysis. And yeah, I'm hopeful to, further my career in that field.
Loved ones here to support those hoping to start a new career.
Always look ahead, be positive. Everything you've done is worth it and well-deserved. Don't ever think of the negatives, because that's all in the past.
Natalie Van Roy, CTV News.
And Gary Archibald is with me tonight. Gary, a wet Friday for us here in London, but the story weather-wise is changing to heat in the days ahead.
You're right about that, Carlyle. We're talking about the potential of seeing humidity combined with the ambient temperature, making it feel like 35 to about 42 over the next 6, maybe 7 days straight. So a real good surge of humidity along with elevated temperatures above seasonal conditions. That's for Saturday, Sunday, and beyond. Now, today was a seasonal day in terms of temperatures. We expect 24. We've reached 23.2, and the lows even within the parameters to be expected. 14, our average is 13, but the humidity made 23 feel a lot warmer, closer to 27 to about 29 within the city limits. And we're going to have quite a warm evening ahead. Right now, temperatures in the low to mid-20s, teens along the eastern shores of Lake Huron. Cooler there, the maritimity factor. We talk about being next to large bodies of water, whether it be even a river, a wide river, or a lake, and of course are surrounded by the Great Lakes. Here, much warmer as we head towards the major city centers in southern, central, and southwestern Ontario. And the humidex values, this map is going to be, well, essentially much warmer next week. I'm guessing on seeing Monday and Tuesday 40 to 45 readings in terms of the humidex values. The winds will be picking up, by the way, tonight out of the west-southwest to about 25 to 30 kilometers per hour. It's not going to relieve the heat or sauna-like feeling that much, but it is a bit of a breeze. The overnight I think the anticipation of showers, thunderstorms is diminishing, pushing to the east, headed towards parts of Pennsylvania and western New York. Meanwhile, another system moves to the north of us. We will, in fact, see some sunshine for the weekend, most likely Saturday afternoon towards dusk, and then a very sunny, hazy Sunday, which will be very warm. Rainfall tallies not too impressive for the great city of London and surrounds. More rain towards Chatham, Kent, and Strathroy, Ontario through the overnight, and certainly to the north and east of us towards the Bruce Peninsula and Georgian Bay. For tonight, though, there's still a chance, with daytime heating still a factor for the next couple of hours, that there could be some pop-up thunderstorms and or showers moving through southern Ontario proper. The percentages in terms of the likelihood of an occurrence diminish as we head towards 10, 11, and midnight. Take a look at our 7-day forecast, courtesy of our good friends at Metal Roof Outlet. Here are the daily maximums and minimums, highs and lows expected over the next 7 days. Tomorrow could feel like 38, Sunday 42, maybe 43 to 45 on a sunny, hazy Monday. Showers, but still warm through the midweek. We'll cool off a bit, but still be in the mid to upper 20s across the region in and around the city limits. And for the Midwest, a similar looking forecast, a warm, humid next 3 days. Heat warnings very likely to be issued. So stay cool and hydrated. Showers through the midweek and towards the end of next week, mid-20s, but still feeling very summer-like. The first full day of summer is tomorrow, by the way. Summer kicks off, Friday night at 10:42 Eastern Daylight Time. Do take care of yourself under these conditions.
Thank you, Gary. Still ahead, a warning to update your login credentials. Cybersecurity researchers say there's been a massive breach. It might be a good idea to change your passwords.
Leanne is solo hosting the iHeartRadio Pure Country Countdown this weekend. What do you got going on?
Garth Brooks is going to be looking over his shoulder in the near future, and one of the most iconic country songs of all time could be turned into a movie. Details this weekend.
Get ready to rock the park like a VIP. Head to ctvlondon.ca for your chance to win a pair of full festival VIP tickets to Rock the Park from July 8th to 12th, featuring Lee Brice, Hozier, the Red Clay Strays, and more.
WestJet officials say they still haven't resolved a cyber attack from last week. They say they are assessing whether sensitive data or customers' personal information were compromised, admitting hackers accessed their internal systems. An online advisory says the attack has not affected operations, but some customers may run into intermittent interruptions on WestJet's website and app. Airlines and airports have become increasingly popular targets for hackers because of their troves of personal and financial data. And cybersecurity researchers say there's been a massive breach with 16 billion login credentials leaked online. That's roughly twice the number of all human beings on Earth. The researchers say criminals will have unprecedented access to accounts consumers use every day. The data sets contain a vast amount of login information, including user passwords for platforms like Google, Facebook, and Apple. They also say the leaking information doesn't appear to come from a single breach, but rather it was stolen through multiple events over time. A new study shows restrictions and bans on plastic bags are making a difference. The study was published in the journal Science. Researchers looked at more than 150 areas where bans are in place or where fees are attached to single-use plastics. Then they analyzed data from more than 45,000 shoreline cleanups. Finding areas with restrictions on bags saw a 25 to 47% decrease in plastic bag litter. The Alberta government says the idea of the province's own pension plan is still alive, despite releasing survey results which suggest Albertans have little interest in leaving the CPP. With more on the findings, here's Tim Brooke.
After almost 2 years of waiting on survey results, we now know how Albertans feel about an independent pension plan. They're not interested. A 2023 public survey shows 63% of respondents were opposed to an APP. Only 10% were in favor.
It's good to know there's a little bit of common sense out there.
Economists have been begging the province to reconsider the consideration since it was first brought up.
We think that taking the Albertans out of the CPP is going to provide us with benefits at least as good as what we have now with the same tax rates that we have now. She's wrong.
And the survey results show just how controversial the plan would be. 394 pages of responses include comments like, "This idea is completely insane, and I will leave this broken province if you touch my pension." Many just keep it simple.
We weren't surprised at all, Tim. We know that CARP members in Alberta and seniors in general value the CPP. The province should really let this one die a natural death.
10% means it's an idea on the political fringe.
But some still speculate that fringe idea won't be politically damaging. One expert says those who don't like the policy won't remember it come voting time, and those who do will vote blue regardless.
It's kind of red meat to the activist minority of the UCP base, allowing them to be very geared up for election time, for campaigning time.
And despite the lack of interest from survey respondents, the province won't be giving up on the APP quite yet. A statement from the Finance Ministry says public opinion may be shifting, but we will continue to engage with Albertans on this topic. It adds the province won't replace the CPP unless Albertans approve it in a referendum. It's still unclear what Alberta would be entitled to take from the CPP, but the province and federal government have very different numbers. Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
Fuel prices are climbing, in some cases significantly. Gas experts say it's because of Middle East violence. Diesel prices are rising with more increases expected, while gas prices also climbed as much as 17 cents a litre in Northern Ontario. The national average increase is nearly 6 cents. Canada's main stock index lost steam through the trading day, closing lower. The TSX was down 8 points. In New York, the Dow gained 35. The Nasdaq fell 98. The Canadian dollar is down a modest 0.03 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold dropped $22 an ounce and oil added 34 cents a barrel. Later on CTV News, a Canadian photographer turning streets into a metaphor, how he created art out of a near-death experience.
CTV London has your chance to win a 4-pack of water park passes to East Park, London to keep cool in their brand new water park this summer. Enter now at ctvlondon.ca for your chance to win.
London police say they have charged a man accused of sexually assaulting a young girl. They say the man approached the 12-year-old in a grocery store last night, then followed her as she left, assaulting her shortly after. Police say he knew the girl and he was arrested nearby. Medical teams in Toronto are incorporating yoga into rehab regimens. Pauline Chan has more on the potential benefits for cardiac patients.
And take a deep breath in.
The healing benefits of yoga have been recognized for thousands of years, but now they're officially part of the cardiac rehab program at Toronto Rehab. As Dr. Paulo explains, they've worked with cardiovascular and yoga experts to develop a particular form of the ancient practice.
They are adapted to suit the abilities and needs of people living with heart conditions. So poses can be quite adapted depending on people's abilities. Some have limitations related to their heart or bone and joint issues. So doing gentle postures, movements that don't demand a lot of up and down, or we're not doing headstands for today, for instance, Pauline.
A large group of patients and dignitaries from India gathered on the lawns of the rehab center to practice some yoga.
Patients in the cardiac rehab program include those who've had recent heart attacks or heart surgery, as well as those who are facing other health challenges, including increased cardiovascular risks and even cancer.
We do aerobic exercise, resistance exercise, stress management, and where we're looking for complementary ways of helping people stay active and be well.
He says the social, meditative, and breathing aspects of yoga are all beneficial for patients. Linda Friendly came to Toronto Rehab after heart surgery in 2008 and is now embracing yoga as part of her heart-healthy routine.
There's a lot of fear when you have open heart surgery. What can you eat? Can you exercise? Can you have sex? Whatever. You have a lot of questions, and this program that guides you and gives you the answer and sticks with you.
She says she's returned to the program several times, even after hip and wrist fractures. Toronto Rehab is researching optimal numbers of yoga sessions and durations for patients, but the main emphasis is on meeting the needs of each individual. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Inspectors from Environment Canada were in Saskatchewan today, investigating as many as 8 possible tornadoes. These videos were taken in southern Saskatchewan. The severe storms caused significant damage, including damaged roofs and destroyed grain bins. No injuries have been reported, though. A possible tornado may have touched down in eastern Quebec as well. High winds caused widespread damage, leaving tens of thousands of people without power last night. This is viewer video submitted from a community about 2 hours east of Montreal. The severe thunderstorm watch has been issued for the greater Montreal area, and that does include a tornado risk. Environment Canada is addressing concerns over a southwestern Ontario tornado alert issued in the middle of the night a few weeks ago. As Travis Fortnum reports, this isn't the first time residents have taken issue with the timing of those notifications.
A little after midnight on June 5th, phones across Windsor-Essex lit up, alerting residents to a tornado warning. The thing is, at least many living in Essex, were already awake because of the severe storm that had already blown through. Was the alert too late?
Really, one of the hardest things as a forecaster is dealing with tornadoes and tornado warnings.
Northern Tornadoes Project Director David Sills says his team grades Environment Canada on their tornado warnings annually. But while the science of sending them out has improved, it's still not exact.
The target lead time for a tornado warning is only 10 minutes. So that's not a lot of time to get a warning out and to get it to people and for them to act on it.
Just looking to see what Environment Canada does.
The town of Essex last week requested an explanation from Environment Canada on their process and how it can better serve and protect area residents. CTV News reached out to the agency too. In a statement, a spokesperson explained the closest radar is in Exeter, near Grand Bend, supported by stateside radars. They say while their system is down to a science, it can always be improved, saying Environment and Climate Change Canada is continually enhancing its weather services, taking full advantage of the latest technology to upgrade the tools used to predict and relay information about the weather to Canadians. Essex Mayor Sherry Bondi says the town hasn't heard from the agency yet.
But I've heard back from residents that they need to do more.
Bondi is looking forward to more than a statement. She wants discussion and maybe a new radar closer than Exeter.
And maybe there's a relationship where in Essex we offer some municipal property for them to use to put more infrastructure.
Color-coded to show difference between mid-cloud and low-cloud.
Monday, feeling the heat. The first heat wave of the year is in the forecast. Details on the best ways to cope, keeping yourself cool, and how long it's expected to last. Monday on CTV News at 6.
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thank you, Philip Leslie, for this great image. Expect elevated levels in terms of temperatures and humidity combined. It will feel like the mid to upper 30s, low 40s over the next several days. We'll be in and out of heat warnings across much of southern Ontario. Try to stay cool and hydrated.
A W5 investigation is revealing what could be a much bigger payday for car thieves. As John Woodward reports, it's not just the stolen cars themselves, but cashing in on bogus insurance claims.
This Ferrari was insured as a $1 million car, a top-end 599 GTO. At least that's what the owner claimed it was.
But that's not what it is.
That's not what it is. Enter Stefan Nasner, an investigator with Aviva Insurance's fraud unit. And slowly, that car's image falls apart. The dashboard in disrepair. The display lights up with a different model number. And under the hood, the engine bears the mark of a different Ferrari.
You can clearly see this is a 599 GTB.
Not GTO.
Not GTO. Okay. And a GTB is a lot less valuable than a GTO.
Disguised, Nasner believes, as part of an elaborate insurance fraud. And this isn't the first time he's seen this car. Aviva has already paid out a claim on this Ferrari once before.
So you guys could have lost twice.
We could have lost twice. And had we paid out on what it was registered for, it would have been over $1 million.
Over $1 million of money that would have gone to possibly organized criminals.
Correct.
An audacious example of how car thieves attempt to turn the value of one stolen car into many insurance payouts, multiplying the value of what they stole. Key to this disguise is spoofing the unique vehicle identification number, or VIN, on the car. In this case, the thieves appear to have lifted the fake vehicle identification number from this real Ferrari GTO on sale across the border in Detroit. A number that, according to its Carfax service records, also appears on cars serviced in Montana and Texas, suggesting there are many more disguised vehicles using this VIN.
It's being serviced all over the place. How does that make sense?
It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense because a vehicle can't be in multiple places at once. If it is, it's probably a scam. And those vehicle identification numbers are fakes. Tracking those VINs is now a huge part of Aviva's fraud detection program, says Mike Cardillo, Aviva's manager of national investigations.
So we're talking millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars.
VIN fraud up 300% in the last few years, according to his numbers. Selling stolen cars locally has become more important for thieves, he says, as a government crackdown has made it harder to sell them overseas.
There we go.
One major challenge, somehow many fake numbers are legitimately registered with provincial government agencies anyway.
We need to make sure that we're doing our due diligence when a vehicle is being registered, close those loopholes in the ministry to make sure that some of these false VINs aren't being registered.
Solving that problem, a crucial part of stopping that VIN from disguising yet another stolen car, though most aren't as flashy as this Ferrari. John Woodward, CTV News.
It's been 50 years since moviegoers were introduced to an iconic shark.
He's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eye.
The legendary film Jaws premiered in theaters on June 20th, 1975, became one of the first summer blockbusters, bringing in more than $250 million, while making director Steven Spielberg a household name. There have been several sequels produced as well, which have been blamed in part for amplifying fears of sharks and swimming in the ocean. A southwestern Ontario city got a shout-out in a newly released Drake song. With more on the lyrical nod to Waterloo, here's Spencer Turcotte.
I remember pushing DT with a man and whipping 2 Mazdas.
Drake and Toronto rapper Smiley released a new track titled 2 Mazza. It means too crazy in Toronto slang. Perhaps Waterloo Mayor's reaction to hearing her city mentioned in the song.
Yeah, little Waterloo road trip, shorty see me and said,
well, ABBA did it first, but, now that Drake's picking up, I think, it's really catching on.
A little tongue-in-cheek, knowing ABBA wasn't referring to this Waterloo. Mayor McCabe is taking the opportunity, though, to sell Drake on the city.
Drake, I'd be happy to give him a tour of our city, or even on the LRT.
Or how about settling down here?
If Drake and his family want to come, I'd be happy to give him a tour of our neighborhoods.
And you can't forget the festivals fit for great performances.
We also have a phenomenal summer lineup and year-long lineup of festivals and events.
Draketoberfest does have a ring to it, but getting the music megastar and some lederhosen may take some convincing. One Wilfrid Laurier University professor who has taught a course on Drake is looking at the deeper meaning of Waterloo's mention.
And I've taught it about 5 or 6 times now. I keep wondering if that'll be the last time I teach it, and then something else happens that makes me think I should reprise the course.
Now may be the time, considering Drake also references other Ontario cities.
I'm in Barrie, Muskoka, and Brampton.
I think this is a return of some sort, a return to celebrating Canadianness, to highlighting Toronto and highlighting the GTA.
Alexander Boutros says it comes at a good time, especially on the heels of Kendrick Lamar's tour stops at Toronto's Rogers Centre. The rappers have been feuding, and she sees this as a chess move of sorts for Drake to reclaim his roots and fans.
I think all of this is part of a larger move by Drake to recapture and retool his reputation, and particularly his reputation in relation to Canada.
Going as far as calling former NDP leader Jagmeet Singh a goof for appearing at the Kendrick concert. So Waterloo can consider itself lucky that its mention is part of a shout-out rather than a diss track. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Waterloo.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
I'm Sherry Flick, host of Weekend Spotlight, Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. This Saturday, Emma Donahue is going to talk about her latest projects. She's an award-winning author, screenwriter, and more. Also, let's find out what's planned for Sunfest. Alfredo will join us, and it's strawberry season. Will Heeman from Heeman's will be telling us all about that sweet stuff. Also, Brent Lale, CTV News reporter, will be joining us here in the studio. See you Saturday.
Finally tonight, an Alberta photographer capturing images of subtle crevices. As Kevin Fleming reports, the nooks and crannies he snaps symbolize his own experience surviving a health scare.
The photos are all square black and whites laid out in a grid pattern. They're a collection of cracks in asphalt taken by artist Wes Bell. They're images he captured while recovering from surgery in 2019.
I looked down and I saw this major crack. And it reminded me of the scar on my abdomen. And from that, things just grew. And later that summer, so I started researching and hunting for these cracks.
Earlier that year, Bell went to the hospital emergency room with what he thought was a heart attack. After 5 separate visits, doctors were unable to pinpoint the cause of the pain. Then a few months later, he returned with the same symptoms and needed emergency gallbladder surgery.
Sat down with the doctor, the ER doctor, and he looked at my numbers. And that's when he said, "You could have died. I'm sorry, but you fell through the cracks."
Bell lived in Milan, Italy, and New York City, taking fashion photos that were seen by people all over the world. The economic crash in 2008 put an end to that career. It impacted his mental health, and he says his art photography has become his medicine.
When I look back at my career in fashion, it was all about, I was known for detail and driving people crazy on detail. And here I am out photographing cracks again, looking for detail.
The exhibit, titled Fallen Through the Cracks, has been up for the month of June at the Alberta Society of Artists Gallery.
It's really nice that it's been here during, Mental Health Month, because his work has a lot to say about mental health. And I personally really resonate with that, and I think a lot of people also really resonate with that.
Bell hopes by sharing his vulnerability that others may benefit from it by seeking the help they need. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
That's the only thing with the grid.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.